wait, stop. He sells on the Pacers that he's talked hype about all season, and then buys the 76ers that we have trashed all season.
They got the generation of chatter on Twitter everywhere, and I'm pissed I'm giving it to them, but damn it needs to be talked about.
Starting to become big-time free agents, granted, but in their childhoods, in the early 2000s, were the Knicks ever good? No.
Dribbling around episode 16, playoff basketball. Yes, we're back. Connor Glenn, Jaden Becker, Dane Richardson, and I'm showing off today. Anthony Davis went off for 43 last night. LeBron with yet another playoff triple-double. And don't get me wrong, I was one of those people who was worried about the Lakers playing Portland in the first round because they had a lot of lackluster defense. But I got some confidence toward the tail end of the games in the bubble and the regular season for them, especially against the Nuggets, even though it was against their backups. And in the end, I ended up picking Lakers in 6. And I know I'm not going to say anything. I know you picked Portland in 7. But last episode, I got to call both of you out. The Lakers were up 2-1. And to me, it was clear. I'm like, this series is over. They're clearly the better team. Y'all said that series was still going 7, and I get Dame was hurt, but even with Dame, I still think they win 5.
Well, Dame being hurt is a huge asterisk on that statement.
I know, but they still win in 5, in my opinion. No,
I'm trying to stay consistent to this right here, and this is my bracket. So I'm going to continue to call my picks that say somewhat consistent with my bracket. I'm not going to stray from the fact of that. So, obviously, but also with Dame being hurt, that's a huge asterisk to put onto it. You know, like you're taking.
I don't think it's an asterisk because the Lakers, I think, would have won in 5 with Dame. Yes, absolutely, dude.
I don't know. This is just kind of like a pointless hypothetical. Yeah. Because congrats, you moved on to the second round. Don't even be thinking about Portland anymore. You're worried. You should be focused on Houston.
What I'm saying is there shouldn't be an asterisk because they got up 2-1, right? They dominated game 2.
Yeah.
Dame was playing in game 3, and they ended up. It was close, kind of most of the way in the fourth quarter. You knew the Lakers were going to win. Game 4, Mamba Day. That wasn't even a close game when Dame hurt his knee. Like they were blowing them out of the water. They might have won the next game with Dame Lillard. Maybe it would have been a little bit closer, but the Lakers found a way. Their defensive strategy. They were saying, "Hey, we're going to double team Dame Lillard. We're going to force CJ McCollum to go off every game. We're going to force Melo to put up 30." And bless his heart, he put up 20, 25. I don't know how many he put up last night, but congrats to him. He's continuing on a fantastic Hall of Fame career. He still can score, vintage Melo. Or let's force it inside. Let Nurkic score. Let Whiteside score. In every game, Nurkic seemed to be gassed in the fourth quarter. And again, Portland's defense is abysmal. I get LeBron and Anthony Davis are 2 of the best offensive weapons in the game for any team. But their last night in crunch time, or any game really in crunch time from games 2 to 5, Portland tried. But there was no chance.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of hope for Portland in the future. Obviously, we're not supposed to be in the playoffs, But I think we've said this thousands and thousands of times about the Trailblazers. They're a great regular season team, but just can't really get it done in the playoffs. Can't really finally get that big push to the finals, whatever they need to do. And obviously, it's a sad first-round exit for them. But either way, nothing really you can do. You're going against the Lakers, so.
Yeah, I mean, how long is that window in Portland going to be open longer for? Because, Dame and because it was just kind of unlucky this year. You had Dame playing out of his mind, but Nurkic obviously was playing the first basketball in over a year. And just those 8 games going straight into the playoffs, that's probably not the best kind of warm-up. Needs more games under his feet. And then obviously Zach Collins getting hurt too is a big blow to that team's depth. But, I mean, it was clear that the Lakers hit their stride. They were rolling, and quite frankly, it didn't matter how many points Dame or CJ were going to be able to score. No, they weren't going to be able to stop that Lakers team. Yeah. And whenever I said Portland might push it to set, it was more or less they were stealing a game. They weren't winning the series.
Mm-hmm. And I get the Zach Collins loss, and I totally agree they wouldn't be an 8 seed if they were healthy throughout the whole regular season. I definitely coincide with your opinion there. But what I was going to say about Portland, even if they had Zach Collins, if the Lakers had Avery Bradley, I think the Lakers sweep. Because that game 1, Dame went off and he
Mm-hmm.
started to hit like some logo threes in game 1. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. Now, did the Lakers have a different defensive strategy and just go one-on-one with Avery Bradley and Dame? Maybe. But now the question I have is, Connor, you said the window. How long is the window? Well, what does Portland need? What can push them over the hump? Because it's such a competitive and deep Western Conference with so many top-tier players, including Dame Lillard. But clearly defense is a problem. And again, they were without Trevor Ariza as well, a good 3-and-D. That was another miss for them. But what do they need moving forward? What can push them over the top? Because Dame Lillard right now looks like one of those players that's going to go down as potentially a Hall of Famer with 0 rings.
Yeah, I think like it's always been a need for them to get either that 3 or 4 really filled and have a legit like good starter. Yes, Melo's good, but like his role, he's not adding a ton that a lot of players couldn't add other than him. You know what I mean? Like what he brings to that team necessarily isn't that unique, but he fills that role nicely. He's just not really pushing them over the top. Now, everyone knows what you have in Dame and CJ, and Nurk is kind of a budding star as long as he can stay healthy, and Whiteside's a good center off the bench. But if you can find a better upgrade for potentially Trevor Ariza or Melo for the 3 or the 4 spot, it's going to be tough just because they're strapped to the cap with Dame, CJ, and Nurk's contract. And I don't think Whiteside is cheap either, but it's going to be tough because obviously they don't have a lottery pick this year squeezing into the playoffs. There's not a ton of options for them.
Yeah, it's really a tough situation because you look at that team and they're so offensively stacked, and it's like you have the head of the dragon, right? You got the Lillard, and you got the McCollum, and you got your big man. But other than that, it really lacks when, especially when it comes to defense. So obviously, you're going to look for a defensive piece. But as Connor said, what are you really going to do? And there's not a lot of money to be tossed around. And I noticed, Dan, you said that you're questioning Lillard's Hall of Fame type of resume. Obviously, it's way too early to tell, but
I'm not gonna
I look at the NBA. If they made more than one All-Star game, odds are they're a Hall of Famer. That's really how I see it. It's not that it's obviously it's hard to get into any Hall of Fame, but the standard is lower. So Melo, obviously a Hall of Famer. Like without a shadow of a doubt, Melo's a Hall of Fame. Yeah. So I think they're just going to need a lot more depth and a lot more pieces, especially on the defensive end. And if you could find that in the forward position, I think that's your best bet.
Listen, I don't know who it is, and you guys probably are going to think I'm crazy with what I'm going to say next. But yeah, they can need to find like a defensive wing. Yeah, that's how much is that really only going to – is that really only going to do so much? I mean, they need to find really another star sort of. Yeah. Not necessarily a star, but someone who's like,
the name power and the caliber.
Yes, along with Dame Lillard.
Yeah.
And I don't think – and they have really – 3 7-footers, Whiteside, Nurkic, Collins, and I get Collins was out, but he should be back. In order for this team to contend for a championship, I think you have to consider trading CJ McCollum.
I wouldn't throw it out the window. It
for someone else just to mix things up here. Because, that's such a dynamic backcourt. But if you can get sort of an elite wing to that team that can play defense just to mix things up, you have so much offense already. And I know that would probably be tough on CJ McCollum, but you have so much offense already. That's why I would think
that's like taking DeRozan out of Toronto,
Yes, exactly. I was just going to say that. Sort of a DeMar, it's not exactly the same similarity, but a DeMar DeRozan type situation where they got Kawhi. And I'm not saying there's a Kawhi sort of lingering out there.
Yeah, but you got to remember they got Kawhi. You have to get that big of a piece.
Yes, you do. But I don't know. Like, you already have Dame Lillard, though. Because Kyle Lowry and Dame Lillard, I know. And Kyle Lowry's a gritty player.
It was a perfect situation for Toronto because they knew that he was out the door with the Spurs, right? Or at least
beautifully.
It just was the perfect storm. They got a guy that they knew they were going to get for 1 year. This is it, and they got it, and they won the ring.
They thought they hoped to have him for longer, but they almost
obviously they hoped. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of people knew that he was coming to LA, whether it was the Lakers or the Clippers, right? Just because of how everything was going down, and this was going to be the 1 year, and you're either going to do it or you're not, and they did it. And a lot of credit to Toronto, but they got very, very lucky.
And I don't
lucky that worked out super in their favor, because that could
Mhm.
blown up right back into their face. So for Portland to try and do that same thing where they get a player where, all right, here's the meal ticket, let's go win a championship, and it hasn't been like the Trailblazers have had the same pedigree as the Raptors did in the East at the time, where they were getting those very close but just can't get right there. You know, the Trailblazers are one step behind that, I think. So, you know, it's a lot to say. All right, here you go. Here's the reins. We have Lillard here with you. So, you know, good luck. That's a lot to ask for a person.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of someone that they could possibly get, and I'm struggling right now. And I'm sure maybe next episode I could come up with somebody. My mind thinks I don't think it would be any Western Conference team that they in which they would get anybody, and I don't think it would be really anybody in the Atlantic Division. I think it would have to become from the Central or the Southeast Division, but I'm not sure.
It's tough because we don't know what teams are going to be selling next year. Because
What if
you look
I
in
have
the
an
West,
idea.
are you thinking what I'm?
I have an idea. What if Milwaukee loses to Miami, and they think, what about Middleton for McCollum and throwing a few picks?
But then now I would not
You might
hold
need that
Middleton on
switch,
that
though.
same echelon of,
Because you have
here's the
Portland,
guy you
have a
bring
young
in.
kid.
This is the guy. No, I want a bigger name. You know,
have
but
I
it's
don't
tough to
know.
get that from McCollum.
But if you trust the organization, you have a young kid in Anthony Simons that Portland really believes in. He's 19.
Well, also they
Shown
have Gary
some
Trent
upside.
Jr. who was putting up buckets
Yes,
off
too,
the bench.
100%. So I'm not saying that's the one possibility I can see right now.
I wouldn't throw
it's
that
almost
idea
an
out the window.
impossibility, because I don't think Milwaukee's going to lose next to Miami. Come on,
I know, but I'm
saying
saying
that,
if that happens, like, I think Milwaukee would benefit from that. Oh my God.
I think both teams pretty much would. And granted, it's going to be really hard for Portland to hit the red button and just say, all right, this hasn't been working and we can't just keep betting on it to work whenever we've only made one Western Conference Finals in this entire run.
And you knew they weren't going to win that last year at all.
No, and of course, because like you're going up against Golden State and they were shorthanded at the time too. Like they had to play Enes Kanter at their starting center. They didn't have Nurk last year either, but it's got to be hard because like this isn't the Toronto situation where there's just a top 5 player who's unhappy in his current situation, just lingering and roaming around. Like you can't just pluck those off trees like how Toronto got him. Like this is going to have to be like, you have to nail this trade if you're moving McCollum. There's literally no margin for error because if you do, then you already punted on the Dame Lillard era in Portland.
Exactly. That was the big fear for Toronto, is that obviously Kawhi is great, but if it didn't work, then damn, that's really messed up. And because you're betting on that trade bringing you a ring, and it did. So if the trade doesn't bring you a ring, then that's it. You lost, it's over, and now you get the rebuild.
What about a Bradley Beal?
Still not a big name. Not enough big names.
I think but that's not fixing anything defensively. And Beal is
That's
like,
true.
if you add Beal, how many touches are you taking away from Dame Lillard?
Exactly. And that's why I think the Middleton thing works a little bit better, but I still don't think that makes them a championship team. One of their young kids needs to emerge.
Raises them.
What?
I think it improves their
I think it improves them, but I don't think they're going to need one of their young kids to develop into an all-star.
That and Dame's just going to have to absolutely catch fire again. Like,
yeah.
That's the only way they're a championship contending team, because like they are never really going to have that upper echelon second player like how the LA teams have those guys with Davis and George. Granted, we never know what kind of game we're going to get from Paul George at this point of the season, but that's a whole another topic.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, the only way that happens, I think, obviously, if Milwaukee loses, and if Milwaukee loses, that likely means Chris Middleton isn't performing at his peak, which makes the trade more unlikely. And again, the Toronto situation, like you mentioned, Connor, like you mentioned, Jaden, there is not a top 10 player. There is not a top 5 player. Maybe Beal's not. I wouldn't. He had like a top 10 season.
I'm looking at the list right now for 2020 to 2021 NBA free agents. And so like I'm thinking, all right, last year in their deal, team that might not make it, and trying to look for it. And the only person that really see top echelon it's tough to even call him top echelon anymore, given how the playoffs has gone. But due to other issues, I'd be sure to get it. But Paul George,
He's not leaving. He's not.
you don't think because he has that player option, so I would give it that maybe. But unless they don't want to risk it for the Clippers.
He's played PG's going to team up with Dame after that Twitter beef.
Yeah, good point. Other names, I'm just reading off the names. Blake Griffin's there, Gordon Hayward's there, Otto Porter Jr., but I wouldn't put him anywhere near.
They could use one of those guys as
Griffin can't stay healthy though.
Yeah,
they need like a Trevor that like I don't know if Trevor Reeves is going to stay, but Otto Porter will probably charge too much money. But do you have any more names?
The Giannis and Davis are there, but I doubt that they move as well. I think Giannis will actually move from Milwaukee in free agency. That's my big bulb. I always said that because there's nothing. I always said that because there's nothing that he's ever said that has tethered him with Milwaukee. I think he wants to get out of it. I hope so too. I don't know, but I think that's my bold thing. I always thought that Giannis is going to find his way out into a big market.
Yo,
for the Knicks.
All the people saying AD is going to leave, screw you. I do not think he's leaving.
I don't think he's going to leave either.
No.
Because he's in this is what he's been waiting for. Is to finally be in a big stage with LA.
Right now,
finally be with LeBron. This is it. This is his end goal. And the time where he eventually leaves is when LeBron's not there anymore and he's the face of the Lakers and he'll just end up leaving just to leave, but for a bigger contract or whatever. I don't really know. But there's no way he leaves as long as LeBron is there and playing at the level LeBron is. There's no way. Impossible.
Yeah, I think LeBron – hold on. All right. I'm checking something right now. What I'm going to say is Devin Booker has like a 5-year contract right now. He's going to be like 28 when he hits free agency or something. Mm-hmm. I'm calling it now. If Devin Booker is still like a perennial all-star at that time, Devin Booker is just going to join AD in LA. And LeBron's just going to go off into the sunset. And the Lakers are going to be sad.
I'm waiting for –
I'm seeing that vision in my head, bro. Ugh.
No, they have a future now. They have a future now.
To make the league, and then LeBron signs the veteran minimum, whatever team he gets drafted to.
Oh, with Bronny?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
that's gonna be my.
The Suns actually have a future plan now with Ayton, Booker, and then.
No, but like, are they? They have the next 5 years to contend and make a name for themselves. If they don't, bye.
They have but I mean, I mean,
there's time to see. Like, if all of a sudden the Suns become a legit contender year in and year out, and he doesn't leave. But the next 5 years are going to tell. Right now,
I mean, if they keep going up and down and flopping like to fringe lottery and like fringe playoff, then I can maybe see him getting unhappy. But also at the same time, I don't think Phoenix is letting him leave Phoenix at all.
I think Giannis would be a great fit with the Lakers, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like they'll be obviously. I'm telling you, Giannis is going to be that guy that everybody loves, and it's going to be a big heel turn.
I think Giannis would be a great fit with OKC. Matter of fact, I think Giannis would be a great fit with the 27 other teams in the NBA.
That's very true. That was kind of my point when I started.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. Like,
I want to see Giannis.
We'll talk about that if Milwaukee loses, and that'll be a real interesting conversation.
When?
So
when?
What an ass! What an ass! Terrible. Milwaukee in 4. I'm being so. I couldn't be more serious right now. Watch it.
Okay, so the reasoning had to have changed because Miami obviously swept Indiana. So now, like, they're not going to be drained, and like Milwaukee's not just going to have to beat around a puppet.
So drained. Okay, Jaden, talk to me again. Give me your reasons.
Okay, so my original reasoning was that it was the Indiana Miami series was gonna go to 7, right? It did it, but I still think Milwaukee is head and shoulders better than Miami, and now it is time to ramp things up.
Why?
I think they're going to be so mad that they're going to be so mad that they lost that one game to
Why
Orlando.
are they head and shoulders better than them, though? Tell me.
Because they have Giannis, they have Middleton, and I know Middleton hasn't been playing exactly where he wants to be. The shooting isn't there, but I think this is the time where they finally come around. Budenholzer is really going to ramp it up, and our boy, Josh Longstaff, is going to make sure this team does not fall one game to Miami at all. I'm being that serious.
Okay, who's the better shooting team?
Better shooting team? I'll give it to Miami.
Why are you
there.
hesitating?
Who is
to
the better
choose
ball
Miami?
Who is the better ball?
Better ball handling. I would give that to thinking here because
Don't do it.
I want to say Miami, of course, just because
Okay.
I just
Who's
think.
better in the pick?
But I want to say that Milwaukee is still able to be on that almost the same level.
Okay, who's better in the pick and roll? Who's better moving without the ball?
I think Milwaukee would be better with moving without the ball. I think so. I think that'd be able to. I think Miami plays very good team basketball, but I think now it's going to be time to ramp it up for.
I think the coaching matchup is equal. Do not disrespect Eric
No,
Spoelstra. I get
oh my God, I love Eric Spoelstra. I think he's a great guy. I think he's very cool. Love him in interviews all the time. You know, he's very chill. But his rings are coming off of the back of LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Ray Allen, right? I know, yeah, you can't blame him for that, but it's not like he's leading a team of just, you know, with one-star players, leading the first ever popularized super team, right? So, like, that's why a lot of people don't compare Steve Kerr to some of these greatest coaches of all time. Yeah, Steve Kerr's a great coach, 100%, but who does he have? Maybe the ultimate super team, right? But you look at Greg Popovich, and what was he able to do? Go for 20 plus years in the playoffs or something around that lines? Whereas we didn't make it this year.
3 Hall of Famers.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you had Hall of Famers on the court, but what was he able to do? Decades, was able to coach teams through the game that has evolved from the post to shooting from half court. So he's been able to coach that and coach that great. That's why Popovich is on that list, right? But Spoelstra's not going to be on that list. Yeah, the rings are there, but sometimes that ring doesn't mean much when LeBron James was the one there with you. You know, I'm not putting Ty Lue on the Hall of Fame coaches list because he has a ring for LeBron James. My bad. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying that about Eric Spoelstra. I'm just saying he's a very good coach.
And I'm saying he's a good coach too, but I'm not putting him in like, oh, don't disrespect him. But you can't put him on the same level as all these other coaches that I feel like you guys are.
But you're looking at the Bucks defensively sometimes, and sometimes they'll have lapses, and you look at the bench. I would give the edge on the bench to Miami. And I still have Milwaukee in 7 because I think Giannis is going to overpower everybody in the end. But I'm saying it's going to be a close series. Mainly, and
I just like the way it looks, man. I really just like the way it looks. I know it might sound crazy, but it's come from a heart of hearts here.
Milwaukee had, obviously they lost game 1 to Orlando. That wasn't them. Mm-hmm. But there were certain, and yesterday it got within a 2-point game in the fourth quarter, early in the fourth quarter, and then Milwaukee won on like a 9-0 run after a Budenholzer timeout. But they had certain lapses against an Orlando team without Jonathan Isaac.
Yeah, I know there's defensive lapses there. And Miami definitely could take advantage of it, especially with the 3-ball.
But not even a game.
That's going to be scary. I'm going to stick with my guns because that's my pick. That's what I said earlier, and I'm just going to stick with it. You know, I'm sticking in my bracket. I'm not going to change from it. If a game or two does go the way of Miami, am I going to be surprised? No, I'm not. I mean, that's it. I do not think it goes 7 like you guys do because I think Milwaukee's that good. But I'm going to stick with my picks. I do think Milwaukee's going to win.
I have Milwaukee making
I'm going to up the ante. Dane, hold on. I'm going to up the ante real quick. I'm saying Miami at 6. Milwaukee, they literally only Giannis showed up. Chris Middleton, granted, I think Chris Middleton had a good shooting game in game 5.
The same guy that picked Portland to beat the Lakers, you know, Mr.
Yeah, and we were all saying
pick the hot pick. Do
you want to rewind and let me give my reasoning? Because even then I said I know this is gonna blow up in my face. I know playoff LeBron's gonna turn on anytime. But hey, so
LeBron's never lost a first round series in his life.
Okay. Yeah, but also Dame was the best. Hands down the best player in the bubble.
Right. Listen, I'm not overhyping Miami. I know they're a very good team, and if they can get you, they can get you 100%.
Yeah, I'm not
disputing I still think
Giannis
Milwaukee
is going to be the best player in this series. Chris Middleton, I think he might have an off game or two, but he's still going to be a solid Robin for Giannis. The thing is, I'm not sure how much consistent production Milwaukee's going to be able to get. After
that's the
Middleton.
thing, and Milwaukee's just going to need to be able to produce from more of outside from Giannis and Middleton, but at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to how well Giannis plays. And if he's playing at that top level, there's no reason why they should lose to Miami. At least I don't think so.
I don't know, because Miami is just so deep, and Milwaukee's bench really hasn't done anything. George Hill, Kyle Korver needs to do more. Mm-hmm. Korver has not been good in the postseason at all so far. And I mean, Dane, you mentioned it. They struggled to score at times against the lackluster Orlando team who was without Jonathan Isaac, Aaron Gordon, Michael Carter-Williams for a couple games too, I think. So
MC Dub, Syracuse, baby.
yeah, I mean they had a tough time with a 50% Orlando Magic team. I think Miami is kind of licking their chops a little bit, kind of coming into this series. Like, okay, Milwaukee wasn't playing their
You don't
sharpest.
think Milwaukee might have been
We're at
taking
our
it
height
easy
right
there
now.
in the first round? Taking it a
You
little
think
slow?
Milwaukee's taking it easy?
Think you might have taken it a little bit easy there, and I just slowed it down a bit just to keep
Do you know
themselves at
anything about
pace.
Giannis on the court?
Just to keep it pace. Just
You
to
hear
keep,
what
maybe
Coach
not
Walker-
Giannis, maybe anybody else, you know. Maybe
Oh, did you hear George Hill, by the way,
Something
yesterday? Why he didn't come out for the national anthem? That was hilarious.
I didn't hear that, no.
He's like, "You want the honest answer?" He goes, and then the reporter goes, "Yep." He's like, before every game, I take a pregame shit.
That's me before dribbling around. Every show. Pre-game, got to make sure I'm ready to go. Clear head, clear bowels. You know what?
Do that on ICTV.
I respect that. Depends on the day.
I did that
definitely before I leave
all the time. Like,
definitely before I leave the
every
door.
time. Connor
100%.
remembers. I would be in the bathroom before hold that thought all the time.
Yeah, it was a little like, is he
That's a
like,
little
puking
disheartening.
or something? Like, is he nervous? No, it was just ritual.
No,
at
I
some
would
point,
like do
so.
my research sometimes on the toilet. Like
Okay.
it was great.
That's fair. Walking in 4. I'm feeling it.
Speaking of shit, Dane, did you see Lou Dort yesterday? Huh?
Ricks.
OKC now back against the wall. So Houston
Oh
is
my.
6, Houston is 7, OKC 7 are the only possibilities. And obviously also Russell Westbrook came back yesterday. Not the best performance from him from the field. I think it was around like 3 of 13. But I just want to say a quick thing. It would be so nice if OKC could just get like a perimeter defender that actually looks like he knows how to shoot a basketball, because like before this we had Andre Robertson and now we have Lou Dort, who's just like a more muscular Andre Robertson pretty much with the same shooting clip from 3. Lou Dort is single-handedly the best defensive player on both ends of the court in this series, because he is like, outside of Chris Paul just refusing to score, he is just sinking every possession because the Rockets are encouraging him to shoot. And OKC hasn't done anything about it. They haven't changed any bit of their offensive philosophy, because at this point, when do you consider maybe taking Steven Adams out and putting Lou Dort in at that small ball center? Because, yeah, I understand at that point, then you're kind of like playing into the Rockets small ball, and they should be able to beat you in that way. But Steven Adams is getting outplayed by PJ Tucker. Like, if you hide Lou Dort, he's not dominating the matchup like he should. That matchup is not going the way it should. Lou Dort as a small ball center might really only be the way to save the Thunder in this series. But
I agree.
Schroeder is easily the MVP, and him getting out yesterday was already the nail in the coffin after that.
That was a ballsy play
Rockets
yesterday
run,
by
but-
Schroeder.
Yeah.
That was a very ballsy play. No pun intended. Oh, wait. Whoops.
But no, I mean, I have a hard time seeing this go OKC in 7 after yesterday, because there's only been 2 solid games from Chris Paul so far this entire series out of 5. That's terrible. That's terrible if you're Chris Paul, because he was getting like not buzz, but like top 5 MVP candidate talks towards the end, whenever like right before the bubble, when our boredom was reaching a peak, but we knew we were getting basketball back soon. But this team has just underperformed so much outside of Schroeder, really, because you haven't gotten the production from Chris Paul at all consistently. SGA has been a little on and off, but it's been better. Just what is happening? Like you had the advantages going into this series with size, in my opinion, and also that guard duo is really nothing to sleep on, even comparing that to Harden and Westbrook. But my God, this is disappointing.
And usually rebounds, as we say, are indicative of like just what the score should be. If you're waiting in rebounds, you should be winning in the scorebook. Just Rockets just shooting them at the gym. So there's really nothing you can do that. You can grab as many boards as you want, but if you can't land a shot, there's nothing really you can do. So the boards had been there in some cases, and I think they won the rebound match last game, but it's really just a tough case, and especially when it's only your bigs grabbing the boards. You have everybody grabbing boards over there with the Rockets. They don't care if you're tall, short, whatever.
They have to.
Yeah, and that's really a sign of the Rockets team showing that they're playing very good basketball right now because they are grabbing those rebounds at an efficient rate, and they're not the biggest team. They're not the biggest on the court, and they're not ever going to be at this point. But hey, if you keep on grabbing rebounds like that and you're keeping it close in the rebound game, it's really nice to see for the Rockets. I wonder how it's going to go. I think that I had OKC winning this series. I don't think it's going to happen anymore, but it's going to be fun to see them with the Lakers.
I had OKC in 7. I kind of want to stick by that just because it's my original pick. But like you said, Connor, what I saw from Lou Dort offensively, I mean, it's anemic. It's disgusting.
He's single-handedly killing their offense. And
it's mental.
Also
and now at this point,
part of the reason why Chris Paul can't get going is because when you have Lou Dort and Steven Adams on there, you have two guys who are pretty much like Adams is clogging the paint and Dort is clogging the perimeter. Like,
you literally
there's no spacing out there.
You just need to take like one player from the Rockets, whether it's House, Tucker, Rivers, McLemore, and just like put them on the Thunder. They win that series. Instead of actually, I don't know if you trade him for Lou Dort because Dort's done a fantastic job for a rookie, and you're going to have your ups and downs against James Harden. And now this is a big test coming into Game 6 and saying, hey, man, like you got to step up. Harden's smelling blood. The Rockets are smelling blood. They think they can do this. But do I think the Rockets the problem in Game 4, I felt like they fell in love with the 3, especially after they started 8 for 8 in the second half, and they did. And the Thunder came back. Chris Paul's got to step up, but I want to see more from Gallinari too. Like, I feel like he was going to be a weapon, and I thought he was going to have a game or two where he just drops like 25 or something and lights it up from 3. But instead, and we knew Houston was going to shoot 1,000,000 threes in this series. That's all they do. But I want to see more from him, and I want to see either Gallinari or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Step up, dude. Like, I thought they were going to have, like, they're playing okay, but I thought one of them
– they're not moving the needle enough. That, like,
yes.
they're playing – yeah, they're playing good enough to get by, but this isn't, like – they're not pushing this Thunder team over the edge at all. And – like, if you, as a Thunder fan, if you watch them this entire year, you figured, all right, Gallinari is going to have a couple of performances here and there. And whenever he's not doing that, SGA is going to be doing that. So far, no one but Schroeder's been doing that, really. And your 6th man being the only person doing that, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. Do you think? Okay, this episode's coming out Tuesday, and I know we all had OKC.
Tuesday, not Monday.
I don't know. But by the time, do you think by the time this episode comes out, and I know we all picked OKC, and it was split 4-4 in our bracket, us 3 and George picked OKC. But ask the question, do you think this series is over by the end of Game 6?
I think Houston is 6 now.
Jaden, do you?
Because Chris Paul has had so long to get on, to turn on. It just hasn't happened. I'm not counting on it anymore.
Jaden.
I'm going to say Houston in 6 only because if it goes to a Game 7, I feel like anything could happen. If it goes to a Game 7, it's a coin flip, I think.
Really?
But, yeah, I think if it goes to a Game 7, it's a coin flip. Yeah,
I think
so.
Yeah, I think if it goes to Game 7, it's a coin flip because obviously that means, like, okay, OKC turned it around for Game 6. Like, you got production out of Chris Paul, Gallinari too. So it's like, all right, can they keep that up? But I mean, if it's Game 6,
for Houston's sake,
it's going to be more of the same.
For Houston's sake, I think it's going to be in 6. I think this got nip in the butt there. If it goes to 7, I think it's a coin flip at that time, and that's going to be a great game to watch.
I had OKC in 7, and hopefully, like I mentioned, I have the Thunder in 7, but hopefully my pick works there. I think OKC was, and they gave up toward the end of that game, but.
Well, I mean, it was over going into the 4th quarter.
Well, yeah, they were down by 3 at halftime, and I get Schroeder got ejected, but still, there was the beginning of the 3rd quarter, and they recovered from it in Game 4. But Houston has just come out, lighting up fireworks from 3 on the Thunder defense. And whether the Rockets win or the Thunder win, the Lakers are playing so well, and talk about a test that Charles Barkley said it last night. That will be the ultimate test of small ball, facing the Lakers. LeBron, AD, Dwight Howard, and JaVale McGee. And the Rockets are actually 2-1 against the Lakers. And AD didn't play 2 out of those 3 games. But still, I think they'll give them some problems, but the Lakers will make enough adjustments. But I think the Lakers The Rockets might push them to 6, but max 5. The Lakers are hitting their stride. I think whoever wins this series is not going to beat the Lakers. Not even going to threaten them.
We'll go into our picks in a second because we're obviously gonna have to wait for the Western Conference, and we'll be able to talk Eastern Conference pretty quickly. I know we already talked about Milwaukee and Miami, but there's 2 series also still going on in the West that might be over by the time you're hearing this because we're recording this on Sunday morning. But Denver, Utah played today, and so do the Clippers and Mavericks. Now, we just learned that no more KP for the Mavericks. That's officially out the window with a torn meniscus, which is a bummer if you wanted the Mavericks to push this to 7. But I know I would have to pick Clippers in 6, especially without KP in this. Like Luka, what he did in Game 4 was otherworldly, but a Luka performance cannot stop a full Clippers team performance, no matter how good that Luka performance is.
Mm-hmm. And Clippers in 6. And I think, is that the second time Porzingis has torn his meniscus or something, or did he tear his
You
ACL?
can play through a torn meniscus.
I tore my meniscus.
Yeah.
High school.
I don't
didn't
think
play
it's
through it.
a meniscus. Like, obviously he tore his ACL, but I think this is the first meniscus injury, especially on that one too, on that knee.
I know he had bad legs.
Yeah, he's had bad legs his entire
He tore his
career.
left ACL in 20.
Okay.
He tore his left ACL when he got hurt with the Knicks. But yeah, he.
I know it's not easy to play through a torn meniscus, but I think it's 100% possible. I think it depends on. I guess it depends on the severity.
Yeah, he has a lateral meniscus.
Okay.
Tear.
I think it depends on
So
severity.
James calling
of it.
him a wimp. So
Maybe
James calling
just a
KP
little bit.
wimp.
Just a little bit. I don't know. It's a mixed thing. I guess.
Dude, I think even with the Clippers won this game. They're
Yeah, I think even with KP, I agree with you 100%.
I mean, I think it'd be
Even
more of a
with-
coin flip if KP plays, but I'd still it's not.
The Clippers
that
haven't
smart
played
really pick
to
against
to the
Clippers.
to the height that I think a lot of people expected them to play coming into this, but I expect them to ramp it up as well in the second round, I guess you call it. But I expect them to ramp it up, and the Dallas played very well. I am very impressed by Dallas, and I'm very impressed by Luka Doncic and the future of the league. So he get to show it off a little bit in the bubble. So very nice to see, and the fact that they stole 2 games is actually a little scary about how good this team's going to be. So how good, not that team, but how good Luka's going to be. So very impressive. Clippers, I think, win the next one.
yes.
Yeah, so that other matchup in the West now, we go over to Denver, Utah. This, in my opinion, is a matter of, okay, who's going to get more help, Donovan Mitchell or Jamal Murray?
Yeah.
Bingo.
I think the Nuggets are winning at least. They're pushing it to 7. Am I prepared? I don't know if I'm prepared
You
to
guys call me
say-
crazy.
Okay, but this has been exciting, though. Like,
You're right.
I haven't
It's
been
call me
bored
crazy.
watching this
We
series.
were
Because I
wrong.
thought it was going to be blowouts back and forth. That's what I was thinking. I thought it was
Jaden.
going to be Donovan Mitchell day, Jamal Murray day.
Well, the
So that's what I
Jazz
thought.
have won have kind of been blowouts. The game the Nuggets
Yeah.
have won.
Yes. Yeah.
So like
I think it's
Again,
exciting
they've
for
been
I
kinda
think it's
fun to
exciting for us
watch.
because none of us expected the Jazz to be this
yeah,
good.
and I'll give you
And maybe
credit.
it's that type of excitement.
You were right. We were wrong.
Thank you. Finally,
Yes.
these things need to happen.
Yes.
I gotta be right.
But that's one series, and we know that whoever wins this series is not going to beat the Clippers.
Yeah, 100%. I
But-
think that Denver wins the next 2 games. I have that. I think
It's a coin flip for me.
I know it is a coin flip, but I have that as my pick, so that's what I'm going with.
Denver.
If they gotta stop Rudy down low, that's the thing. Rudy
I
Gobert
got
needs
stop
to do-
Donovan Mitchell from scoring 50.
Well, obviously, yeah, like that's gonna happen first. But if it obviously that Donovan Mitchell, that's an obvious point. But if Rudy Gobert is also the second guy, you really gotta push this guy, man. And I know Jokic really gotta put it out, eat a Big Mac or something.
See,
And he
the
lost
Nuggets,
a lot.
the Nuggets are just pulling it out in the 2 wins they had.
Mhm.
Donovan, like, they could do it. And in the end, top to bottom, they have the better roster, especially with Utah without Bojan Bogdanovic. If they had Bogdanovic, obviously, I'd pick Utah. Utah probably wouldn't even be the 6th seed because they haven't had him the whole bubble. But Denver,
Mhm.
Utah hasn't been blown out or anything like that I think, and I don't think Murray can do it for 2 games. The 2 games Denver has also won, Jamal Murray was bonkers. Jokic has been good, but you need that for 2 more games, and you still barely beat Utah. I think Utah gets at least one of the next 2.
I want to see Michael Porter Jr. as well also get a little hot. I think
That could happen. That could
I
happen.
want to see him drop a 20 plus high 25s. I want up there.
Obviously, it's kind of hard to make predictions and like not set you up for a cold take exposed, especially whenever this is going to drop, like potentially on the game 7 if that's played, or the day before that. But Denver's getting Gary Harris back. That's like a big boost.
Oh,
for
are
that
they really?
perimeter. Yeah, they are.
Oh, I apologize.
Tweeted that out 2 hours ago. So
that's a big three ball.
That is big. Like, and also that's just a big boost for that team, like in so many aspects.
How will he adjust though?
I mean, initiation by fire at this point.
Yeah, there's no time to adjust. You give him that
there's
ball.
No time to hot, just like, okay. Yeah.
It's either he's hot or he's not. That first, you really got to play it out in the first half. And if he's hitting, shove him that ball. And, it's going to be him, Murray, Porter, and then Jokic really going to have to be big bodies with Gobert down low. And I better load up, pump some iron before the game. He's getting skinny now. I don't know what to have. Like, listen, if Jokic was maybe we were so hyped to see Jokic be skinny. Now I want him to be big again, just because he needs it. I feel like he's not pushing Gobert at all, because you look down low and Gobert's just been that guy. He's just been moving bodies, and that's it. That's all you need.
I think Nuggets are winning in 7.
I think the Jazz. I don't know. I think they'll get one. I think Mitchell won't let them.
That's all they need.
Yeah, all they need is one.
I know. So I think they'll get either game 6 or game 7, and I don't trust Jamal Murray to because like I said, the games Denver's won, Jamal Murray has gone nuts.
Jamal Murray could have been Nick. I read that the other day. He was drafted by the Nuggets with
every NBA All-Star could have been a Nick. They all picked
the pick Jamal Murray. Okay, when they traded for Carmelo, right? The pick that they gave away, they were able to swap the 7. So it was a 7 and a 9. They flipped, and then Jamal Murray ended up being that pick. Believe that? Crazy. But the Knicks didn't even pick with that 9th. I think they got Anthony Bargnani or something like that. I forget. Very sad.
Wait, no. Was that the year they picked Neil Aquina?
No.
They were 8 or something.
No, they're 9, but they didn't pick that year. I remember.
No, they were 8 when they picked Neil Aquina.
Yeah. Now they're 8 again this year. Very sad. Very, very sad.
Hey, you never know. They could get a good player. You never know.
That's what we say every year. They can get a good
player. Yes. All right. That's enough Knicks talks, especially whenever we're talking about the playoffs. It's kind of hard to do our picks now since 3 out of the 4 Western Conference series are still going on as of recording this. So, and then we already said our Milwaukee-Miami picks. Other series that's starting today, game 1 will be over by the time you're listening to this, but Boston and Toronto, 2-3 in the East, both coming off of sweeps. I think we all had – Dane, I forgot what you had in your bracket. I know me and Jane obviously had Toronto.
Boston,
you had who?
Boston and 7.
Are you feeling that way even without Gordon Hayward's?
I said
especially in this series.
Yeah, he said that without Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
That it was still going to be Boston and 7, which shocks me. I say Toronto and 6. That's what I have in my bracket. That's what I'm going to say here.
And you have Toronto winning, so of course that shocks you.
6. But
I might be tempted to push 7, but I think – or Jaden, what were you going to say?
No, I'm saying that I give Boston those 2 games because they're a very good team. And I think if it was Boston-Milwaukee, if this was flipped and it was the second round, it was Milwaukee-Boston, I would give the 2 games to Boston against Milwaukee as well. So I think Boston's a very good team. And but Toronto, I think, will be able to handle them playing good basketball and coach of the year. Like I said 1,000 things. You heard it already enough. I can't. So we're running out of time anyway.
I do the Bucks so much. The freaking Bucks, they're gonna sweep the Heat next round. Lose to the Raptors.
They are gonna win 7, but it's gonna be 7. A regular Eastern Conference. I think is supposed to go 2 great teams duking.
Because they're gonna be just so emotionally drained from
oh my god,
yeah. And they're just not gonna have anything left in the tank.
That's how I make my pick. There's a reason why I'm on top. There's a reason why I am winning. I don't
in the regular season.
You guys picked throughout all the regular season because
they were singular games.
That's
how
okay.
I went 27-32 in the bubble.
Emotions. Basketball is 90% mental.
Half the college games you didn't even know who was on the.
Oh yeah, 100%. But you know why I got these picks right?
You just pick the home team 80% of the time.
No, but that's a great way to pick college basketball. You can pick the home team because you get the home crowd. It's an emotional advantage. You just have that on you. We went to that Syracuse game, even though they lost, but you saw how that crowd was. It was electric. So that inspired me to pick even more home team.
Okay. Yeah, but I know, Connor, Miami, you're right. They're going to be so emotionally drained after sweeping Indiana. It was such a long, tough series. And
No, it's not gonna be long and tough. That's the thing. It's gonna be easy road down to Toronto. They're gonna be like, oh, this is a real team right here. It's, I'm not nothing against Miami, but this is gonna be a real fight. So
I just think Boston, and I'll talk about them later. I think this is time for Jason Tatum and to step up. And what I saw, Kemba Walker arguably was the best offensive player in that series for Boston against Philly. No disrespect to Philly. Obviously, we already talked about them enough last episode. But that's a really good sign because if Kemba can step up offensively too, and I know that's going to be a battle with Kyle Lowry, and again, he's active for game 1, good for Toronto. It's going to be even the whole way through. And I'm not slacking on it. OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam and Norman Powell. Toronto is a great team. I think this is going to go 7. I think it's going to be tight. I think it'll be 3-2 at one point, either team, either Boston's up or Toronto's up. I just think Boston has a little bit more star power. That's why I'm going with them. And both teams play fantastic defense. I think you're going to see some low-scoring games. And in the end, though, coming down to it, someone like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum's going to make a clutch shot in Game 7 and put Boston over the top.
You see, my thinking is that Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, they're going to have one of those games where they just shoot their team out of it. Like, they're going to have, like, a 3 of 7.
I see that.
Like, I could see one of them just having, like, an absolutely abysmal night shooting, but they don't stop shooting, and that ends up hurting them because they just never turn it on. Meanwhile, Toronto. Yeah, for a gamer. I'm not counting the whole series. I'm just saying, like, maybe when it matters most in that potential series clinching Game 6 for Toronto, I could see either one trying to play a little bit too much hero ball. Because we have seen that happen before where it's against very good teams. Because I think like either one of the early games in the bubble, Bucks versus Celtics, Jason Tatum shot them out of that game. And it was a close game. All they needed was maybe him to shoot like a little bit closer to 40% and they win that game. But I just think that Toronto is so deep, so defensively good as a team, and they have all these scorers. They're almost like OKC, whereas like, yeah, Siakam's clearly their main dog, but they have so many like guys underneath them that if you don't really pay attention to them, they'll sneak up on you.
Yeah. And I'm going to talk about Jason Tatum a little bit more later, but we have a fun segment coming up, but I think, like I said, this is going to be the most tightly contested series, I think, in the whole playoffs, no matter what.
Before we get to our next topic, I want to run through our rankings for the first round thus far, where we stand on this for the bracket tournament on NBA.
Now, this doesn't mean much because, like, it
doesn't mean much. It'll change, but I just want to see where everybody stands now. It's Sunday morning, so let's see where we are. In 6th place, we have Connor Glenn. Last place, tied with Skylar Stein.
He's in last?
And yes, but guys, you, Dane, Simon, and Connor Glenn are all tied for last place.
But that'll change because
it'll change. They're all tied for last. Yeah, because you all got 1,000 points right now.
But it's tight. I'm not worried.
It's tight. In 3rd place, it's George S. I'm assuming it's George Sikoriak.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Jeremy Goldstein and myself, so we're all tied for 3rd.
Jeremy picked Indiana. And he has the Rockets to win the finals. He's going to be in last. Okay.
So I'm just saying where we stand right now.
I'm
saying where we stand right now. In 2nd place is Liam Spellman, who's picking very well right now. He picked Milwaukee in 5, which was correct. And he has picked everything else
Miami in the finals.
Correct at the moment. And you have K. Smitty 14. Do we know who that is?
Yes, that is my sister's boyfriend, I think.
Wow. Sister's boyfriend currently standing head and shoulders as he has picked Boston sweep. He picked the Raptors to sweep. He picked Milwaukee in 5. So, and he picked everything else right. So, your sister's boyfriend is very dominant.
Everyone picked Denver, though. Hey, he's got Lakers Bucks, I think.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, you realize we're the only 3 in the whole bracket to pick the Clippers to win the West. Everyone else picked the Lakers, and that could come back to bite us. And it's so sad because I think about it. I'm going to be so sad if the Lakers lose. But the bright side is my bracket challenge is still in there. And I'm going to be so happy
I think I'd rather have a title banner than a bracket challenge, Dane, but
Yo, I would. I definitely would. That's why I'm gonna be so happy if the Lakers win. But then I'm just gonna get made fun of on the show. You picked against your own team.
No, I'm not going to say that.
But
Because
no, I will
you've
always
given
deflect.
reasoning at every step of the way, so I'm not going to fault you for that. But no,
Yeah.
I'm still confident in my ability to bounce back.
I'm
Big second
excited.
round coming up.
I'm excited for this next one. What we're doing, Connor? What do we got?
So we put it on our story, and I found this graphic on Twitter. It was pick 3 players, and it initially on it just said pick 3 players, but we kind of twisted into like build your franchise around these 3 players. And I'll read you off the list as I'm pulling up this graphic. So at centers,
I want to see this.
at centers, we've got Joel Embiid, Jokic, Cat, and then like Bam, we're gonna count as a center, just a big man in this exercise. Forward, you have Jason Tatum and Ben Simmons and Pascal Siakam as well. And then at guard, you have Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Trae Young. I picked my 3 to build around. I went Jokic, Pascal, Siakam, and Booker.
It's not
Dane
bad.
was a little different.
I also had Devin Booker because I just think
He's an assassin, and we might be buying into the Phoenix hype a little bit much, but I don't think we are. Jason Tatum, and I'll get into why. And this is probably the one pick that nobody had, and we had like 7
No
or 8
one did have.
responses. No one did have that.
No one
like,
had him.
We had 7 or 8 responses to our Instagram story. I have Bam Adebayo as my 3rd guy. Build my franchise.
Jaden
who
didn't
do you
like
have?
that. Jaden didn't like that.
I'm googling because we're building a franchise. I'm googling ages here, so I got to make sure these guys
That's
are
why I
young.
didn't go with Spicy
I'll just
Pete.
like no, so just kind of like these from the responses, like some of the more popular answers, like the main
All right.
centers, everyone
Okay,
almost
so-
everyone had a center, I think, and they
Embiid
went
or-
with
Yeah.
either Embiid or Jokic. There was
Bam's
I think
my
there was
big,
one
though.
Cat in there, but
Yeah,
was very
Henry,
common
Henry
as well.
Bulkley went with Cat. Jeremy
I
Goldstein
don't
was
know.
about 3
Henry
Frank
Bulkley also
Ntilikina.
went
We
with
should
Ben
watch
Simmons.
I'm gonna go Booker,
it. Okay.
Siakam, Tatum, because I think centers are deep and you can go many places with that. You can go with that. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna pick a center, but I think that's a core.
That's like nasty.
Yeah,
Really,
I'm not picking a center. And you know me, I love my big guys, but I feel like
Jokic might be the
it's
best
so
player on that list.
No.
so not if it's playoffs.
I almost went with Mitchell over Booker.
I almost wanted Young over Booker.
No.
I almost
Really?
did, just because of the age. He's 21, Booker's 23, but I said like, that's
Devin
2
Booker
years.
showed
Yeah.
out in the bubble,
Yeah.
and I'm dropping 250.
I know.
playoffs.
But
It's
I'm
crazy.
saying from a building a franchise perspective, I want a younger guy. I want a guy that can have for longer. So that's why I would have said Young, but at the same time, 23, 21. All right. Yeah, you take that with a grain of salt, right? Given what Booker has been able to do, in his short tenure in the NBA, which is awesome. So that's fine.
Hold on.
Yeah. So I mean, wait, what?
Go ahead, Connor.
Okay, yeah. So my 3, like I saw that list, and I honestly think Jokic is the best player on that list. Like the only person I maybe compare, like say, okay, he could definitely give him a run for his money is Devin Booker after this bubble. But I think Jokic is better than Embiid just by skill alone, but also like
Can't
Jokic
build-
also
yeah,
can stay on the court.
Why can't he win a
Jokic
playoff
can
series
stay on the
against
court.
Utah without Bogdanovich? Why is Jamal Murray being the guy that's carrying them and winning them this year?
Dane, I'm not grading Jokic's career off of one playoff series. I'm not gonna make a knee-jerk
I
reaction off
know.
of
Okay.
5 games so far.
But
So
Mitch-
You made a
off
knee
of-
jerk off of 8, so that's okay.
I'm surprised they didn't put like a
What?
DeAndre.
Off of
With the
Booker? No,
Trailblazers,
Booker's
you
always
gotta
been
be-
good. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but it was also Dame, so I think that's
Okay.
fair enough. But
Okay.
no, and then like I think Tatum was one of the most common responses, and I almost went him. Booker and Jokic were locks for me. Like as soon as I saw those 2, I knew okay, who's the third piece to complement those 2? Like I didn't even have to weigh any decisions around like is Booker for sure in there? No. The third person I was considering was Mitchell, and I know that's recency bias. Like I'm admitting to that right now. But the reason I went Siakam in this case is obviously this is all hypothetical, but Booker's going to be my main scorer. And Siakam's just going to be that rangy athletic defender on the wing who can he's really going to be able to shut down if someone has Tatum or potentially Mitchell. Like he's going to be that defender. And then Jokic is obviously he's one of the best post players in the game, even Slim Jokic is. And also for Siakam, I don't think he's done improving. Like he still
Okay.
has a potential.
I don't
to
think
reach,
any
in
of
my
them are.
opinion.
Yeah.
No, obviously, but I mean, Siakam is like
Upside
he's
wise,
already.
I mean,
But
Yeah, I
what
mean,
I'm
like I think
saying,
Siakam has crazy
Yeah.
upside just because like his offensive game is still developing, even though it's very good. And obviously, like he has the length, he has all the just he has all the factors to be a good defender. So whenever he puts it all together, he's easily an all-star like he was this year.
what
Yeah.
I'm saying is that I feel like center is so deep that in the NBA you
I
don't
see.
need one of those three guys. And yeah, 100%. If you take Jokic, yeah, that's a huge build to you, 100%. But Booker, Tatum, Siakam, and then a center, I could take like a Drummond, right, or a Turner. Maybe too big of a contract. Maybe a Miles Turner, right? You take that, and it's like, all right, that's a really nice build. It's a big guy, but I don't need that big flashy name. But I feel like he's able to do enough,
Miles Turner,
especially with those three.
yeah. Can I explain mine? I mean, I like your pick, Jaden, and I almost went with Pascal Siakam over
Mhm.
Tatum too. The reason being, you look at these guys. I'm gonna list them off. Tell me if they're their number one option on their team. Embiid, is he their number one
Yes.
option?
Yeah.
Jokic,
Yeah.
usually.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, right now, no, but
Karl-Anthony
usually,
Towns.
yeah.
Yes.
1A,
I
1B.
haven't watched
1A,
any
1B.
Minnesota this year.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell,
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
Devin Booker,
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
Trae Young,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pascal Siakam.
Yes.
Yes, but they could do
I
it with
picked two
all
guys that
11,
aren't-
all
okay,
of
I'll get
them
to my
over there in
Bam pick
Toronto.
later. I get Bam wasn't. Jason Tatum, can you say that? No.
But a
'Cause you
couple
don't
points
know.
this season, you definitely could have.
Sometimes, but it's not
Especially for the 40
sure-handed, right?
spot.
Because they have Kemba and Jaylen Brown. So what I'm saying, the reason why I picked Tatum, he's so gifted offensively. He was one of the surest draft picks and has so many moves in his offensive bag. And no disrespect to anybody else, but he's got Kemba and Jaylen Brown on his side. How often have we seen him? I trust in him that he could be that number one night in and night out. I get he's had some inconsistent performances, but he has arguably, and I get Jaylen Brown wasn't an all-star, two other all-stars by his side. So I think if he was on a different team where he had to be the number one, I think it would be unanimous with Jason Tatum. I think he's that good. In terms of the Booker pick, everyone went Devin Booker, like straight up. The Bam pick. And I had trouble not picking Siakam here. I almost went with the same exact thing as Jaden. If I pick Booker and Tatum, the league, and Jokic is such a good passer, but I want someone who's more mobile, who's quick, who can rebound for me. And Siakam sort of fits that bill, but so does Bam Adebayo. And like I said, he's 23. He's younger than Siakam. And like you said, I don't think he's done improving. So I think he could develop a jump shot a little bit more. He plays better defense than Jokic. He plays better he can guard people like, and we'll see a big test with him guarding.
Yeah.
He can guard more people than Jokic, better defensive versatility than Cat, better defensive versatility than Embiid. And he rebounds the ball like a maniac. To go along with two dead-on scorers like Tatum and Booker, and you could go with some other guys. That's why I picked Bam Adebayo, because he's that piece that you could have at the 4 that could rebound, or you could have him in an evil small ball lineup at the 5. Because he's that fast. And
I don't think it's worth picking him over other names on the board.
You don't need more offense, though. Bam can provide.
It doesn't
you a little bit of
matter.
offense.
I don't think that matters. When you have these options,
I'm looking at
when you have these options,
defense,
I'd
I
rather
might
pick,
go Embiid or Siakam. But I mean, like, if I'm matching up my team against yours, and I'm looking at a Bam Jokic matchup, I'm taking Jokic. Like, I don't think Bam is.
I think Bam would run Jokic off the court.
We're talking about the best center in the NBA, Dan.
Bam isn't a center; he's a 4.
No, I'm talking about Jokic, the best center in the NBA.
Yeah, but the center class isn't as deep as it was. I'm not okay. Just continue.
No, I'm saying it is deep.
I'm saying, like, if I have either of the centers on this list, so I have Embiid, Jokic, or Cat. If I'm throwing the ball down low to either one, I'm confident they're scoring. I'm confident
all
that
3 of them. I'd pick Embiid, but like Embiid's too shaky.
Yeah, and we're talking about building a franchise, right? So like I'm building a franchise.
I don't think Jokic.
And I think it's not worth it to pick a big. especially with the names of Booker, Siakam, and Tatum on that list. Like,
That's why I didn't
how
pick
you
a
gonna
5.
leave
I
them?
picked a 4.
I know
that
you
can
picked
play-
a 4,
also
but at the
play
same,
I would have
that's
went
not
higher
I don't
upside.
trust it. I don't know.
He has
I
all.
think
He
I
has,
want bigger highs. Yeah.
I get no, Jaden. I get your reasoning for sure, and I don't get me wrong. I respect Jokic. I get all. This is a tough situation. Where these are all young stars that can be multi-perennial all stars, and they all could have fantastic careers. And we're just predicting the future, so called. But that's you think about that. Not only can I need someone with Tatum and Booker, they can already score it, but then you look at it. What do I need to add? Tatum's a pretty good defender, but he's not great. Booker's just a scorer. He's okay at defense. What else do I need? I need sort of a big that can rebound, score a little, and play defense if I'm building a franchise. Siakam represents that. He's 26, and like I said, I had a tough time going against him, and I need someone, but Bam Adebayo represents that even better.
Do you
That's
feel
why
like
I'm
that's sort
saying
of a jack of
the
all
center
trades, master
position-
of none type of scenario?
What do you
Because
say?
you're getting all of those, but you're not getting all those great.
Yeah.
You're getting like he's good, 100%. I love him, but he
Like,
I don't
here's
think
the
you're getting
thing.
a
No, but I
great
already
piece.
have
You're getting a
Tatum and
good
Booker. I
piece.
think are the two best players in that whole graphic.
Why him over Siakam again?
Younger, and I still think he has a lot more room to grow, and I think he's a better rebounder.
Here's the thing. Whenever I'm looking at Bam and Siakam, like, I don't think either are really guarding and limiting Embiid, Jokic, or Cat. So I'm thinking, all right, I'd rather just like get Siakam and know I'm going to get more offensively rather than Bam. And okay, he might be able to hold them to a little bit less than their like star outputs. You know what I'm saying? Like, rather than just kind of like go for, I just think Siakam has a better impact because, yeah, he's not going to bring what Bam does defensively, but Bam also isn't stopping those three centers, in my opinion.
He doesn't have to. He can play the 4. Like I said, Jaden just said the center position is deep. Technically, I'm not going with a center either, but you can play Bam with the 5 and go small ball depending on your lineup, depending on your coach or whatever.
I'm just kind of looking at these like almost as if it's my 3 versus your 3, not like my hype like 3 plus 2 guys that I'm just hypothetically putting into this lineup, but that's the way I'm looking at it.
I think Bam would run Jokic off the floor. I don't know. I mean, 3
I don't
on
think
3.
so.
I mean,
Yeah.
3 versus your 3, 3 on 3. Yours team might win.
Yeah, if you're picking 3-on-3, I'm picking a different
If-
lineup as
if
well.
we're picking
But
3
if you're
on 3,
picking
I
a
think
franchise
Jaden
to
wins.
start, yeah.
I don't know.
But
Like,
how
I'm not even
all
picking
right,
a different
I
lineup.
want-
We're doing 3-on-3.
I want to hear your lineup for 3-on-3 because I think I'd keep mine.
oh, 3v3?
3-on-3.
3v3.
Oh, I need to look at my phone again. Dude, I'm going to have a different lineup.
I'm changing to Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, so am I.
I'm
Donovan
changing-
Mitchell.
I'm changing
Pascal-
to Embiid, and I'm changing to okay. Donovan Mitchell, Tatum, Embiid.
I'm
3-on-3.
changing my whole lineup.
Basketball. Yeah,
Healthy,
that's my
all 3.
3-on-3.
Healthy, all 3, 3-on-3.
Because that's a completely different question you're asking. You're asking a 3-on-3 ball.
No, I get
3
that.
on
I
That's a
get
100% different question.
I'm
you're
going
asking.
Mitchell. I'm going Siakam because I need a defender to lock up one of those wings, and I'm going Embiid. I switch all 3.
Yeah.
3-on-3.
I would pick Tatum.
Maybe. I don't know.
I
might
pick Tatum over
in that
Siakam.
situation,
Just I like that how that looks better, but
I think the
3v3
only edit I
Embiid.
would make, edit I would make is Tatum slightly over Siakam because, like, in this scenario, I know I need a bucket, and I trust.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone
Okay.
trusts Tatum more than Siakam.
I would go Mitchell, Tatum, Embiid
Yeah.
probably.
why are we
I
all
have-
picking Mitchell now because it's 3-on-3 and not a franchise?
I don't know. That's kind of disrespect to
Right?
Devin Booker. 'Cause he's a good
I know,
basketball player too.
right?
Devin Booker just seems
yeah.
more of a shooter.
I didn't pick Mitchell. I'm staying with Booker.
Okay.
Okay, but
I'd
I don't
say-
know. Mitchell just seems like he's bouncy. He
Yeah.
can shoot
He's a
it, but
spider.
he's more of an attack the rim type guy.
Yeah.
And I feel 3-on-3 game suits more of that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's why
Yeah.
I feel like we're going with that.
Yeah,
But
picking
yeah,
a franchise and
Building a
picking 3-on-3
franchise,
is
like
very
I said, I
different.
go Booker, Tatum, Bam Adebayo.
Okay.
I don't know. He
I
averaged
think that's very
what?
simple.
He was an all-star. I think. Wait, have any of these guys not been all-stars? No.
Only
All
one
of
guy on this list has won a ring, and that's Siakam.
Stop.
That's a factual statement.
I know, but you. Come on. Okay, but
It wasn't like he
all-
wasn't a big part. It was a part of.
Yes,
Siakam.
all of them have been an all-star. That's a good point. The future of the league. You're taking a look at this, like, I don't know if we could say this about the league like 2-3 years ago. They had this many bright stars. I don't think we could. Like,
I think they were there, just didn't recognize it. And there's a couple names that aren't here that like could be like Luka could be here, but they, obviously who you pick
Luka's
by
just
everybody.
above
Yeah.
this class
He'd be-
already.
Yeah, he'd be
Luka's
picked
already
by
above
everybody.
this.
Yeah. So
same thing with like Giannis or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like,
very fair.
I don't want to get into that conversation. I don't know what Luka's contract is, but like, did they extend him?
If
not
Porzingis is
leaving
on this
Dallas.
list, you anybody picking him or no?
No.
No. Okay.
because
Sounds
I
good.
picked the center. He's not.
Yeah.
I might pick him over Cat. I don't know.
I would pick him over Cat too, but yeah,
I
wouldn't
think
pick
I
him.
would, but I wouldn't pick him over Embiid or Jokic
Okay, fair enough.
because his health is even more a bigger question mark than Embiid's.
Yeah, amen. That's scary.
Yeah, I mean, you don't think. I mean, they Dallas just picked up Luka's third-year club option, but I'm saying, speaking of Luka, it's only a matter of time before they give him. I think this offseason, Luka's going to get a massive extension.
Whenever he becomes eligible, they're bringing out the Brinks truck.
Dude, it's going to be insane. I think.
Oladipo's too old to be on this list.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put him on it either.
Yeah,
Maybe
we'll
2
put
years
Oladipo.
ago.
Yeah.
All right,
2
here.
years,
How about
100%.
this? If Zion or Ja are on their list, are on this list,
I wouldn't pick Zion to
I
build
wouldn't
a
pick
franchise.
Zion.
He's already too injury prone. Literally in his first.
I
What about
would.
three
injury
on
prone in
three?
college.
Oh,
Maybe.
that's different.
That's a little.
Ja,
That's a little
like-
scary. Yeah. Even
Ja?
Ja is scary.
I wouldn't pick Ja either. I don't know. I need to see more. He won Rookie of the Year, but I don't think he's that good of a. He's not that good of a shooter.
I
yet.
could pick Ja. Maybe not over.
But the other guys have proven
Booker
so
yet.
they've all been all
Yeah,
stars.
they're all proven. They're all proven.
Yeah.
Maybe that's maybe the reason why we didn't pick Mitchell to play. Because we're picking for one game. We're not picking for a season or a franchise. So we're picking proven guys, and that's why I'm also a little surprised you picked Adebayo because I don't know how
Yeah.
proven he is yet.
He's an all-star this year.
Yeah, but I mean, this is
yeah,
like his
so
first
it's a lot of
year.
people. Yeah.
He's like
It's
the
the
least
first
proven out of
breakout
this
year, so-
list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it like his third year?
Yeah, but I don't
Yeah, but
think
I mean,
he's
like, this is his-
proven yet. You
Yeah.
know? He had one.
Like
you know,
he
one very
showed
good year.
promise last year, but it wasn't anything like what he's doing this
But
year.
it
This
also,
is
as a
the
building, when
first-
you're building a franchise, that's also what you're banking on as well. But when you have other names on the list, I don't know if you could pass them.
What else
That's
is
the
my
only-
need, though? What am I missing on my team? What am I missing?
So you have who? Booker, Tatum, and Adebayo?
Yes. What am I missing?
I just think you might have too many cooks in the kitchen offensively on some nights. That's why I went with Siakam at my 3. And
What
I'm
do you
not
mean?
saying like, hey, I'm not saying that's every night because you can never
That's why
have
I
too
went
many
with Bam.
scores.
That's why I didn't go with. That's why I didn't go with like a Jokic or Embiid or a Cat.
All right, well, yeah, and Embiid's different, but Jokic is just a facilitator.
Tatum already shares the
As a
offense with
center.
2 other stars. That's why I'm saying that I don't think I'm missing anything. You know
No,
what I mean?
no one's really missing anything with this because
Yeah.
we're picking from a list of literally all stars. So it's kind of hard to be missing an element whenever you can nab 3 of them for a team.
I think
I'm just saying
Adebayo-
I think you had better options outside
Yeah.
of Adebayo.
Yeah. If this was, it's hard to describe. If this was like it's sort of like a draft. You're drafting these players, and if you have another name on the board, I'd rather pick Siakam or Tatum over.
I'm just happy we didn't pick Simmons or Embiid.
Okay. No, because it's a
6
different. Yeah.
Timeout. Do you want to
Yeah.
just do like a quick randomized order? Do a quick snake draft for this? Because I don't know.
Okay. Oh, all right. Bet. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
All
So like, all right, let's randomize the order real quick.
right.
So,
I don't know what to do.
all right,
All
here
right.
I'll just do this. Oh,
I'm gonna
wait,
throw
Dan, are you
thr-
gonna do it?
I'm going to throw 3 darts at the board. Whichever one lands closest from here. Whichever one, I'll say, this is Jaden's
Yeah.
dart, this is Connor's dart, this is Dane's dart.
That's
Okay.
fine. Watch Dane just be practicing this shot for
Bam!
like hours.
Bullseye.
Like I know this is gonna come in handy at some point on a Zoom.
This is Dane's dart.
Okay.
Fell off
This
the board.
isn't gonna work.
This is Jaden's dart. 13.
Is it? Okay.
13. Okay.
This is Connor's dart. 17. Wait, do I get another
Ooh.
one? Mine didn't stick.
No,
Mine didn't stick though. It hit the
it
board.
doesn't matter.
That throw.
I'm
It doesn't
I
matter.
got
Dave,
2
you
anyway,
threw-
so who cares? I
Alright,
got
okay.
last.
All right, ball don't lie.
Okay, so Connor first, Jaden second. That means I get 3 and 4. Let's go.
Yeah, but then all right, cool. So
You get first pick.
I think I have to go Devin Booker here.
Okay, Jaden.
All right, 1 sec. Then I go Trey.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So you're not picking anyone from your like 3-on-3 team or your initial like 3 for the franchise?
No,
team?
but we're building a franchise right now, are we? Right? It's a franchise.
Yes,
Or three.
All right.
franchise.
We're building
I
a
get
franchise,
2.
so I'm going. Yeah.
I get 2 picks.
So you get the 4 or 3-4.
Tatum and Siakam.
What a jerk. All right, then I go Jokic.
So now you want to pick a center.
Well, now my whole plan changed. The difference when we're picking from the
Yeah.
list, when we can pick whenever we want, then it's one thing. But now I have limited options. So now I have a very young point guard who's ready to explode and have a great career, and I have the best center in the league. So sorry, my bad.
Okay.
All right,
Connor, you get
so
next 2.
So
Mitchell
I'm
was my
happy.
first pick, or is my second pick,
All right.
and now I think. Let's see. I'm debating between Embiid and Bam, and like I would feel like such a hypocrite if I say Bam, but no, I'm gonna take Embiid. Embiid, Booker, Mitchell.
Okay. Who's your third, Jaden?
So he has. You have Embiid.
I have Embiid.
The people left on the board are Kat, Simmons, and Bam.
I'm definitely not Cat.
Then obviously you know who you're going with.
Definitely.
Because
I
it's
want-
definitely not Simmons.
He
either.
drafted the wrong. He
Fine,
drafted the
Bam
wrong
Adebayo.
way because we took his guys. Because now he's probably gonna have a team.
So now I have a team of one good point guard and 2 big men.
And
But it's okay.
I'm gonna go with Ben Simmons.
Very
and
good
Kat.
rebound.
So
right.
I think I have the best team because I have the soup. No one stop it, dude. I have Simmons and Siakam, probably the 2 best defenders on that list, and Tatum.
And who else do you have?
I have Tatum, Siakam, and Simmons.
Okay, and who do you have?
And then
Healthy Simmons.
I have Booker, Mitchell, and Embiid.
That seems good.
Joe.
Jaden is the worst.
So really, this
Yeah, I
is
have
just
the worst
between me and
team, but
Dane. This
There's
is
nothing
just
really I couldn't. I
between me
got
and
stuck.
Dane.
I didn't get. It's tough to do a snake draft
You
it's
drafted Trey.
because I'm
Yeah,
building.
that
a
came out of
franchise here.
nowhere.
Dude, you could have
Then why
drafted freaking
yeah.
Tatum or Siakam or Mitchell. That would have made your
I don't
team
know.
drastically better.
I want.
If you would have picked Mitchell, then I definitely would have taken Jokic. So I mean, you would have been able to like get Bam with Mitchell and Trey.
Mitchell. Yeah.
Dude, I went with
Maybe I'm
3
just not a
guys from
good
the same division.
short-term.
We'll
draft.
put this up on our story and it's like just see who everyone thinks will have the best.
Dude, I
team.
almost went with Cat over Simmons, but I think.
Okay,
Simmons-
but we gotta remember this was a snake draft that I
You
didn't
got
get the
stuck in
turn
the
pick.
middle.
I got
You
stuck in the
picked
middle.
Trey with your first
You
pick. That
picked
is your
Trey
own
second
fault.
overall.
You picked
All right,
Trey
I don't
and
even think
Jokic.
that's even a bad pick, to be honest with you.
I would not take Trey over Tatum.
Or
I was
Siakam.
flipping between that.
Siakam
I
or
was flipping
Jokic,
between
or
that,
Jokic.
but
I
I
would
wanted to
pick-
go young, so I went there.
I would pick Tatum.
They're
Siakam,
all young though.
Booker
I know,
and
but
Mitchell
all
all
right,
over Trey.
Oh wait,
Say it
did you
again?
mean Trey Young or like age young?
Yeah, I meant age young. He guy's 21
Okay,
years old.
all right,
That's
I
why I
wanna
said
make
the
sure I
guy's
didn't sound like an
21
idiot.
years old, and like I feel like there's a lot of good potential. Maybe 5 years from now, we're telling a completely different story. But then again, I don't like how the fact
Did
that
you
I have
just try
Jokic
throwing a
in
dart?
the bottom line.
Did that
All right.
stick?
No, it did not.
No, it didn't.
Oh, I thought it was stuck on the bottom.
All right, we done now. Trying to
Who do you
get
think
to-
is the best team? Ready? All right. Comment again. I'll put the graphic. Connor has Embiid, Mitchell, and Booker. Everyone's going to say that team. I have Tatum, Siakam, and Simmons. That's pretty nasty. You should vote for me. And Jaden has Jokic, Trey Young, and Bam.
Well, okay, but that's one thing.
Oh, he's
That's
trying to
from-
defend himself. He's
No,
like,
but that's
oh,
from the snake draft. We made the this
you
original.
picked the wrong pick second.
This
You could have
no,
picked
it's
Tatum,
not a
Siakam,
wrong
or
pick.
Mitchell.
It's
Yes,
a good.
it is.
I think that's a good pick. I think that's.
I
Put
think
us
you
in
could have
Tatum.
gotten Young at 5 though.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think one of y'all would have taken him.
So real
No,
like
Connor
you-
wouldn't have
So
picked
then
Trey,
you're only
though.
counting on
You could've
Dame to
gotten
take
Trey
him.
in the second round. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't have picked
I-
Trey in the turn. I would have picked.
All right, then now I know. All right.
See, the thing is,
sorry.
if you picked Tatum or Siakam, I would have just taken one of those wings in Mitchell.
Now that I think about it, because maybe because all three of those guards could do. I don't know. I liked Young. Sorry, I liked them.
You could have gotten Young at the turn.
But this original whole segment was about who would you pick out of the three out of this list, not a snake draft. So I picked. I think I have the best team.
You
out
gotta
of that.
think in the draft, Mister Number One pick in our fantasy football league. You gotta think. What are other people's
I'll smoke
strategies?
you on fantasy
Taking a
football. That's a completely different thing. But not,
So you can wait.
A word?
Yeah.
That is on.
By the way, this is a basketball show, but there's a huge we have like a 10-person fantasy football league. We're very, very competitive. It's a bunch of our Ithaca College friends. Jaden, Connor, and I are all in it. Some guys, a couple guys from Goat Chat are in it as well. And we should be doing a fantasy football league between the three podcasts at Ithaca, Agree to Disagree, Goat Chat, and of course Dribbling Around. And
Featuring
but
Rob.
The other fantasy football league
Featuring
that's a buy-in. Like we will be talking crap about it on our episodes. Like if people beat each other in fantasy football, we probably should be doing fantasy basketball, but we don't.
Well, I don't think there was
Tougher,
anything
yeah.
for the bubble.
No.
And when we
but,
started
like,
this show, we were already
Next
halfway through
year.
the NBA season. So
next year, fantasy
I'm gonna have to
basketball,
learn how to do that.
and hopefully
Yeah.
next show we might have a guest on the show. Not sure. It's been a
been a
couple
minute.
weeks.
It's been a minute.
Been a minute since we've had a guest, so you never know. Larry, LeBron James is coming on next, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, can't wait.
Huge.
It's gonna be awesome.
We're trying, dude. We got credentials to go into the Orlando bubble and cover all
Yeah.
the games.
Yep,
Triple
now we're
yeah,
gonna
it's just-
go
Mhm.
start licking the court. Okay, COVID.
What'd you say?
I don't even know. I just thought it came in my head. It's like because you can actually do
That's-
that over
that's
there
what
and
came to
not
your
get
head?
COVID because it's like a
Court liquor?
bubble.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on social media. More playoffs coming up. Tune in for some fun little Instagram lives and different things on our channel, our Instagram story. Have a lot of fun again. Make sure to subscribe. And Jaden's holding up his bracket. It's too bright of a light, so we
bright.
can't really
Can't
see.
see.
it.
No one
But,
can see. It's okay.
I'm still staying confident. Also, go Lakers. AD dominates. Jaden Becker, Connor Glunt, Dane Richardson, dribbling around. Peace out.
Peace.